So let's talk about the technology challenges in the world today. So you lead up, and everybody loves to talk about the pandemic, but I think the pandemic did something really good. It really showed where manufacturing was behind in technology. And I think we all know that we're not as current as everyone else. Some of our softwares don't keep up as current. There's a struggle there, and there is resource struggles there as well. The good news is we just dug in and got it done. It was the busiest time in the history of my business, and for many of my customers. So, but what it did show is, as you drop a river, you see all the rocks. It showed all the rocks and what we needed to improve from a technology, from an application and a process perspective. One of the things that manufacturing is struggling with and will continue, especially under the current administration, is lack of skilled workers, labor shortages. I love bringing business onshore in America. I love the reinvestment we have here. But with that is I'm not so sure we can fund it adequately with highly skilled workers, because we need that in our manufacturing world, our distribution world. So how do we overcome some of that? I think we're going to use technology to do so. I know we have to. We have to deliver efficient processes. We have to have very efficient platforms. We have to have flexible platforms. And we have to have great applications delivering those processes so that we get really valuable touches, gather great information, and know the statuses. So I think that's going to be one of the ways there. The other way is to automate the shop floor. Shop floor automation is not just for the big enterprise guys now. And we see that's our biggest growth area, to be honest with you. MES, manufacturing execution, warehouse management, shop floor workflow automation, data collection, real-time interaction with your ERP from a data perspective. So I see that improving manufacturing and making us more efficient and helping, again, with that skilled worker labor resource shortage. The other piece you can't ignore is what's our real number one threat. We're seeing an increased footprint over the last 18 months of attacks in manufacturing sectors. It's on the rise. This is not fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's what we're seeing, and we're going to talk to that a little bit later. And then the other piece is, well, with all this happening, and we're going to get more efficient using technology, well, guess what? We're just increasing the dependency we already have. And one of the customers I was talking with not too long ago gave me feedback, says, Jeff, I can run my plant with no technology. And, I said, well, I love that kind of debate. That's fun. We started talking, and I said, well, how long can you go and not send an email? Or how do you call for a shipment pickup? They do EDI. How do you do advanced ship notices? How do you track your inventory? Are you ready to go back to manual? If you're med device, how do you do a lot trace with no systems up? How do you print those valuable labels, right? And how do you do all those things? Just basic fundamental blocking and tackling. How do you do that without the tech today? And his answer was, well, we don't do it very well, very long. So it kind of brought him to the forefront that this dependence is important, and thus supporting it and funding it is important. And the last piece, and it's not, there's probably 20 of these I could put on a slide, but what we're seeing is everyone's still using basic rows and columns and Excel pivot tables, and that's how they're attempting to manage their business. And they're spending hours, weeks in those methodologies. And that's really 20th century, not 21st century thinking. And whether you have a legacy ERP, or an older one, I don't like to use the word legacy because they all do the same things, or not, every one of them can deliver amazing KPIs with the right tools in front of them. So embracing things like Power BI or Tableau and those technologies, and increasing what your people can see and monitor and have in front of them so they can all make great decisions, is wildly important. It's just huge for the industry. So we got to measure it to manage it, and all levels can have a single pane of glass into what they're doing, all levels within the company, right up to the executives.